Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Geology. For those that are interested, here's that cross section practice thing. I'll shoot through some answers to some concepts pretty quick here just to help you out if you decided to do this. It's optional, but if you just wanted more practice before the test comes, I get you. So here we go. I'll skip that one. I talked about that in the notes a little bit. This one's not labeled, but what you would have to picture, at least be able to see a couple of these things, is that the rock that is cut by the faults had to exist when the faults occurred. Same with this green is kind of an igneous intrusion. So I would say that this rock is first. Then it looks like the intrusion came through with some other stuff on top. Then it cracked, and then erosion gives us that unconformity right there where other stuff can get put on top. What they did do in this one too, which I'm not sure is on many of the rest of them, is the inclusions. The chunks of yellow that are in brown would indicate that the yellow was there when brown formed. Otherwise, you couldn't get a chunk of it included in it, right? So that's that. Another sedimentary layers on top, and then lastly would be this other igneous intrusion because it cuts across everything right to the surface. I'd say more often they're going to look like this, like diagrams. I don't know if I can make this bigger. Let's see. There we go. So very straightforward one here. I would go B by superposition, B, then C, then D, and that was where you could argue either way. Could you go A then E? Could you go E then A? At our level where we're at right now, I think you could go either way. Likely, it'd be B, C, D, E, A. But since A and E are not in contact with each other, they don't cross-cut each other. It's not very easy to tell. Over here, B. Nope, E is going to be first because there's contact metamorphism in E. So E was there. B would have been an igneous intrusion that came in and probably went higher than this, but was then eroded. So there's our unconformity. Erosion took place. And then on top of that, C, D, A. Not too bad. Oops, sorry, I keep scrolling the wrong thing here. There we go. All right, I'm going to go again with superposition. CBA is an easy start. Really, this one's about could you figure out between D, the igneous intrusion, and E, the faults, which happened first? And the answer is D happened first because D is cut by E. Here's also a good example of where erosion is taking place on the surface. We can see that A was about yay thick, right? Come up with a unit and say it's about that thick. Well, where's the rest of it? It's missing up here, and that's what erosion does. So if like this landscape were to then say further down geologic history, some far distant civilization starts studying geology, they would see more rock layers put on top of that and see that buried erosional surface right there, that unconformity. All right, B and E should have contact metamorphism on it. Sorry. So let's do it. What do we got? I'm going to go D, then G, then E. What can we do between B and F? I'm not sure we could tell the difference between those. Yes, you can. All right, so then E, then F. This really would represent erosion right there. I know it's not like a wavy line, but that's gone. Oh, shoot, that has to be before the fault. Look at that. This is a tricky one. All right, so let me start over. Sorry for the confusion. D, then G, then E. Then erosion would have likely cut the top off of that because where's the top of E? Then F is the fault. Then A filled in. Then C filled in. And finally at the end is B because B cut across all of those. And yes, there should be contact metamorphism on the side of those. Another animal one. Those are kind of goofy. Check it out if you want. Likewise here, there should be metamorphism on both D and A. So here I'm going to go C, H, E. Now's where you got to bring in original horizontality. Those are tilted. So that has to be a step. C, H, E, tilting, erosion. G, A, erosion. F, B, D. And since this is like a stream valley, that would be erosion as well. Now, if you're starting to panic and say, holy cow, what's this guy talking about? The test isn't going to be like, this would be one of the harder ones. If this would be harder than what I will do on the test. How about that? And it will be more like a multiple choice question asking, is this older than this and how do you know? I'm not going to have, I don't think there's a way to do it where you would have to like put a whole entire sequence in order. But can you start to recognize these and figure out what things, when there's a relationship between two items, which one would have to be older? And I mean, I know I skipped this footstep problem, but it really is this. It's like being able to like just go backwards in your head and figure out what must have happened in what order. All right, this one's a mess. Since there's contact metamorphism in G, G had to be there. So I know superposition, you really want to go towards the bottom usually. Um, but G would have been the bottom at the time. So I'm going G, F, and then tilting because it's at an angle, and then this fault right here, and then A. Because the fault does not go through A, this cuts across. So A came after the faulting occurred. Yeah. Yep. And then B cut through that, then erosion, then we're cruising. D, E, H, and finally C. And then again, if we're at the surface, you might say erosion is the last step. And this monstrosity, this is like 20 steps. This is like the one I do as a challenge to like, if you're really crushing this, how are you going to do here? And yeah, so let's just go through it quickly. I'm going E, that wavy line there could represent erosion. G, L, C. And then we got tilting and faulting. So the fault is labeled with an H and everything's tilted. And then there would be erosion to flatten the top back off there. You can see that this upthrown block, the top's gone. So erosion cut that off. And then M, D, there is a letter in this yellow brick pattern. It's just like barely visible. There it is, especially if it's off the screen. J, let me shrink that down. It's a scotch. So M, D, J. Then I'm going to go A, erosion, N, K, B, and then tilting. So original horizontality came into play twice in this one because there's tilting at this angle, then there's tilting at this angle. Since they're different, there must have been two tilting events, whereas F is flat, so that one's not affected by that. So B, then tilting, then erosion, then F, and then more erosion. If that's overwhelming, then don't panic about it. I'm saying we'll be more on the scale of like probably things like this, maybe parts of this one, and again, not the whole entire sequence, but can you relate one to another? If you're crushing it and you like nailed that whole thing, then you're probably good for the quiz, which will be great. Shoot me an email if you have any questions. Hope all is well. We'll talk to you soon.